I'm Olga Senova. I'm the head of Friends of the Baltic Environmental Organization, which works more than 23 years in the Gulf of Finland basin, and we are 20 years member of Coalition Clean Baltic. We work on water issues, on river basin management, on environmental education, on climate. So we do our best for the Baltic Sea.
My name is Ushakova. I'm also from Friends of the Baltic, and I'm working with water issues. The consequences of climate change have a time-dilated effect, and they may amplify existing problems, such as floods and droughts, which are among the most negative effects of climate change around the world, including the Baltic Sea region. The consequences are deterioration of water qualities due to the increased level of pollutants flushed into the water bodies, and raising of eutrophication due to the increased level of nutrients runoff, and also biodiversity loss due to the deterioration of water bodies and increased temperature, and also destruction of vital socioeconomic infrastructure.
I think the main instruments which European Union has for climate work are the river basin management plans and flood risk management plans. Also, some countries have international basin agreements and specific management bodies, like River Basin Council. For example, in Russia, we have River Basin Council for 63 rivers. And the new instrument which we use in our work is public advisory river teams. This is an informal body which includes all active stakeholders. It may be effective, efficient instrument. We use this instrument in the Olga basin. We have such interregional basin within our region, and our partners use the same instrument for transboundary river Nemunas, where public advisory river team includes both Russian stakeholder from Kaliningrad region and from Lithuania. And of course, Baltic Sea Action Plan and HELCOM support should be the strongest instruments in this work, because they cover both EU and non-EU countries. And I'd like to underline also about priority measures. As with any negative effect, the first priority should be prevention. It needs well-done detailed investigation and assessment of the climate risk. And the second priority should be to reduce consequences by the development of special protection infrastructure, energy solution, and so on. And the third priority is adaptation to changes which we cannot avoid, which are already coming. Many of these measures are regulated with European Water Framework Directive and flood risk management plans, and they are included to River Basin Management Plan. We know that EU Water Directive oblige EU countries to develop and update the River Basin Management Plan regularly with actual changes, including climate. And Flood Directive requires member states to assess whether all water courses and shorelines are at risk of flooding, to map the extent of flooding, to assess the impact and damage for infrastructure and people, to take adequate and coordinated measures to reduce this risk. This is a good instrument. Maybe they are not enough, but it's adequate approach. And both EU Water Framework Directive and Flood Directive also strengthen public rights to assess to information and voice in the planning process. A little bit different situation in non-EU Baltic Sea region countries in Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine. Flood risk management goals and measures are partly presented in national documents. And there are several international agreements between EU and non-EU countries, but not enough. On the particular river basin, like Nemunas, we have several projects, but even such projects do not include obligation for national measures.
At the moment, the implementation of the first round of the flood directive has ended in European countries, but it's still quite difficult to assess the success of this implementation because not all reports are represent now. And unfortunately, as we see in the reports, not all countries and river basin in Baltic region have flood risk management plans. Quite often we can find that all rivers have only one. All rivers in the country have only one flood risk management plan. And even rarely we can find some international agreement or some special river basin management bodies in operation. And also, if we'll talk about non-European countries, they don't have specific flood risk management plans. Only Ukraine start to develop a specific flood risk management plan for the river basin. And Russian Federation and Belarus, they usually implement a national water management strategy that includes flood and drought management, but not have some specific in this sphere. Also, European and non-European countries have a different legislation and quite different bureaucratic systems, and they are not easy to compare and quite difficult to work with. But as we can see in the reports, we can say that probably European countries have more transparent system in this field.
My colleague Anna just said that common approach in unification is important to compare results and measures. That's why Baltic Sea Action Plan is important. And we think that climate change topics should be integrated into all aspects of the new updated Baltic Sea Action Plan, as climate change aggravates all environmental problems. Eutrophication, biodiversity, everything will become worse and worse. And we consider international cooperation is important for Baltic Sea region, specifically in the sphere of science and public participation, for common investigation of climate change consequences, for investigation of effectiveness of different measures for river basin and flood risk management. And as I said earlier, action plans should be focused first on measures for preventing and reduction of climate change consequences and then on adaptation. And I'd like to underline again that transboundary river basin management plans and flood or drought risk management plans are necessary for all Baltic Sea region river basins, belonging both to EU and non-EU countries, Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine. For example, we still have no Belarus, Latvian, and Russian working group on transboundary waters on Western Dvina-Daugava river basin. I said that Neman basin projects were successful, but we still have no Belarus, Lithuanian, Poland, Russian transboundary water working group, state official working group, and have no international agreements on all transboundary waters in the Baltic Sea region. We have better example with Russian-Finnish transboundary waters. We have an agreement and we have transboundary waters working group, which meet several times a year, and it helps a lot to solve many problems related to transboundary rivers.
There is a positive experience of creating a flood management plan in Poland, for example, for Vistula River Basin. Unfortunately, the Vistula River Basin, it is not like international flood risk management plan, because Vistula is international transboundary river, and this river is shared by Belarus, Poland, and Slovakia and Ukraine. Still there are no some international basin body which can manage this river basin. But there are several international agreements in governmental level on water management in this basin. Also, during our international campaign on the Baltic and climate, we also wrote about flood risk management in the cities. For example, in Helsinki. Helsinki has launched an action plan, the Helsinki Storm Water Strategy. The strategy includes a list of 14 measures, with the main goal to improve the management of stormwater runoff. And several districts of Helsinki are implementing these measures right now, and it looks very promising.
People can do a lot. We appeal to people, don't be indifferent, take an actions. Try to learn conditions of your river, understand why it is not good, what are the sources of pollution, deliver your opinion to decision makers, and it's important not do it alone. You can establish public advisory river team. It will help you to become more visible. On behalf of Public Advisory River Team, you can take part in public consultation on every subject which can affect the river basin. You can take part in the discussion on local climate action plan. It will help you deliver to decision making your opinion and expectation on climate action, which should be done, on minimizing damages for river basin for your personal life, or damages for Baltic Sea in general and its inhabitants. And concerning climate change, we know that state capacity for the assessment of climate change consequences may be limited. That's why important to produce local signals on the climate change effect and consequences, like seasonal floods and droughts, heavy rains consequences, fish biodiversity changes. It will contribute a lot to promote well-done decisions. And important to do your best on the very local and individual level. Use environmental friendly solution in your households. Reduce your own load to the river from your toilet and kitchen, washing powders, animal waste, from your garden, reduce mineral fertilizers, reduce garbage, reduce load from fishing. You can be climate friendly. You can reduce your own climate footprint, save energy, use renewables, fossil-free transport. You can organize nutrient recycling in your local agriculture, and it will help both climate and the Baltic Sea.
In this spring, we prepared information campaign about Baltic climate and how different climate change consequences can influence to Baltic region and our water bodies, our rivers. And you can learn more about this campaign to go to Facebook group of CCB, and also you can go to CCB webpage and to publications and to find our report, flood risk management in Baltic Sea region, and to know more about this topic.
And finally, I'd like to remind again that Baltic Sea is our life, and climate is one of the key conditions of our life. To help to save Baltic Sea and save the climate, we should be the part of solution. We invite you be part of solution. We invite you contribute to conservation of our natural waters, to protection of climate, with your own measures, with your participations in all decisions which are making for the Baltic Sea.